Hey pillars, and welcome back to another cycling video. Now this is cycling news. This is the first interview that Mathieu van der Poel has given post hotel incident in Australia. So if you guys want more information regarding the whole situation, then I will link the video explaining the whole incident at the hotel. But this is his first interview. It is in Dutch, so I do have translates on, but I want to share my opinion, my thoughts about this case that's still ongoing because this is not available in English. So I wanted to offer this version just in case you missed this interview, because I do think it's pretty interesting to see how this case is actually going to play out. So we will watch and I will break it down. So the first thing that Mathieu van der Poel notes is that there was no intention to hurt anyone, and anyone that knows him knows that he would never do something like this or hurt someone. And yes, that is going to say the push a lot mainly. So I think the translation is wrong there. I think he says that, the story is that he pushed these girls, but that is absolutely not true. And that is not what happened. And there's two sides. Two versions of the story, and yes, if you are in Australia, that's very hard to deal with. So I think what he just said right now, and that's kind of the defense I thought that Mathieu van der Poel's lawyer and him would go to. After you see the video, it is very much like, this is my personal opinion now, I have to make that explicitly clear for legal reasons. From me watching the video, he does rush, so I would say the intent of the girls knock on his door. I already did a whole breakdown, but the intent of the girls knocking and disturbing him, that is wrong within its own regard. I don't want to dwell on it. Very bad parents, very bad children. But then on his side, the fact that he didn't handle it properly, he rushed into their room. Whether or not he physically touched them, you cannot 100% say from the video. Even if it looks very compelling, in my opinion, legally, that'd be very hard to prove because the video was filmed on a potato, like most viral videos are, so we can't tell that. And then this is the question where they're going to ask how he should have dealt with it. And you can see that Mathieu van der Poel's not in a good headspace. So the following question is, do you regret it? And he says, yes, of course I regret. I am a mistake to admit that I shouldn't have done that. I should have handled it differently, but unfortunately it did happen. Try to put it behind me, and yes, look further at what is coming. You should have called the security instead of intervening yourself. It is what you say. No, yes, I had anyway about reception or someone and should have informed. But yes, it was just late and I wanted to sleep. I thought I could solve it myself, and eventually turned out completely wrong. So right there, Mathieu van der Poel is taking ownership. He says he should have called reception. He should have called security, like everyone was saying, like I was saying, but he thought he could handle it himself. I think this is a big thing, a big learning lesson that Mathieu van der Poel is going to have to learn. And yes, I can't change anything about it, unfortunately. Now to home, or not, I guess it's now to be home, looking for peace. I'm very at home, very happy to be back in the country. And yes, now the shifts are going. Now finishing off the interview, Mathieu van der Poel has taken responsibility of him not handling the situation in the most professional and proper way. Now, his legal team is appealing this conviction. They're going to try to have it dropped. He says there's two versions of the story. The one version being that he pushed the girls, and then his version, probably in my opinion, if I would have to assume, it would be that he just rushed them. He didn't physically touch them. Maybe they tripped, maybe they fell. The video, like I said, was filmed on a potato, like most viral videos, so we can't see 100%. But then again, the intent of him rushing into their room and then being over top of them, and that is on video, does not look good for his defense. So I don't know how this will play out in terms of the full effect. Also, the fact that they've got this solved shows that might have been some money involved. We don't know what the full extent of this case is. Like I said, he's too big to fail, in my opinion, for cycling. We have Zwift, Alpecin Phoenix, Canyon. So, they don't want to be linked to this. They want to, get the story away as fast as possible. So I think this interview shows that Mathieu van der Poel, like I said, one of my favorite riders. So my concluding remarks for this whole situation is that both parties are to blame for their wrongdoings, meaning that the two girls knocking on his door, wrong, should never happen, shouldn't be doing it. Where are the parents? Take responsibility for that. And then on his part, how he handled it is very wrong as well. So a very unfortunate situation on both parties. I know a lot of the cycling community wants to side with Mathieu van der Poel, but legally you can't, no matter what circumstance, you cannot do what he did. So I think it's a big learning lesson. And that's all I have to say in this one. So I want to make this update just to show that Mathieu van der Poel, he seems like a better headspace being back on home soil for himself. His legal team will do their best to get the convictions appealed. And then hopefully we have an update on the final situation. But what a crazy world championships we had down in Australia. And I think this really solidifies the fact that not a lot of cyclists will be looking to go there. I even heard some stories about how people didn't even like going to Australia in the first place because of the culture towards cyclists. And the other thing too that I found out in this whole story that I forgot to add, was that they actually had one whole floor of the hotel booked for the Dutch team, and supposedly Mathieu van der Poel wanted to spend the night with his girlfriend, so they went on a different floor. So in that situation, did Mathieu van der Poel put himself in a situation where something like this could happen? Yes, but then again, in reality, the childish girl should have never done what they did in the first place. So just a whole mix of wrongdoings that should have never happened. This whole situation is avoidable, so I just want to leave it there. If you guys did enjoy this news reporting and found value, I have other videos on my channel about cycling, so this was just cycling news. So if you guys can, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not, and until the next one, keep on pedaling.